If you get an interview, make sure you think about your speech pattern. And I was like, at the end of the day, I mean, I met him where he lived, based on how he was talking to me. I thought that was great feedback. And considering this is aviation, you're only as good as your last pass.
Most pilots don't understand what career opportunities are available in the world of aviation. They're making career decisions based on advice from friends or posts on internet forums, meaning they are taking huge risks with their livelihood without having all the details. This podcast was created to help you understand the aviation industry so you can find your dream job. Let's get ready for Pushback. Here's your host and my dad, Nick Fialka.
Hey, pilot, what's up? It's Nick. I hope your day is killing it today. I am very excited about this interview, and here's what's up. This is an interview that I did in 2022 at OBAP, the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. At their national convention, I was sitting down and hanging out at the Spitfire booth, and I had the podcast gear set up, and I would interview people as they came up and as they were getting ready to go do their meet and greets. And then I would interview people after they did their meet and greets. And today you're going to hear my friend Kenny and my friend Aaron, and you're going to hear what their experience was like. You're going to have to give me a little bit of grace here because I was recording it on the convention floor. So you're going to hear some background noise. It's just chatter, it's talking, and it just kind of is what it is. It's not the perfect recording quietness that I strive for in all of our podcasts, but sometimes you got to flex. But I really wanted to get a sense of what it was like. I want to capture that little bit of lightning in the bottle because it is really nerve-wracking to go to one of these conventions. If you've never been before, it'll get you going. You've got meet and greets, you have recruiters, there's so many people walking around. It's just nerve-wracking. And I want to demystify it. And this is one way to do it. So I hope you do enjoy this. But before we get into it, let's do this. Give me a real quick rating, not just like a 5-star, 1-star, whatever, but like an honest review with some words. That Apple and Spotify and Google algorithm thing, like if it has words in it, it totally likes it. So give me an honest review. I totally appreciate that. And I hope you are enjoying the show. And last but not least, let's have a quick word from our sponsors because without them, we wouldn't have this awesome podcast. Hey, pilot, it's Nick. I want to tell you about a great friend of the show, Timothy P. Pope. He's a financial planner, and he's completely focused on the professional pilot. He's the kind of guy you want to go to for real talk to help you figure out your financial future. With so many upgrades and so many transitions and so many things going on, you owe it to yourself to give him a call. He'll help you design and execute really smart financial planning strategies, whether it's retirement planning, investment management, military transition, tax planning. He's a great financial planning partner. Timothy P. Pope, CFP, helping professional pilots make the most out of life. Give him a shout. All the information's in the show notes. You should definitely tell him I told you to call. Oh, dude. All right. So this is a treat for me. I am sitting across from a guy I've known for 24 years. Yeah. Man, Kenny Hyman, absolute stellar Navy pilot, stellar naval air crewman, skater, like the all-American dude. Listen, we've had so many we used to yell at each other. We used to curse at each other. I love you, buddy. It's so good to see you.
Man, I can't tell you how amazing it is to walk in here and see you here.
I can't believe we're on the same plane of life.
And it's funny that I tell people, I'm like, Nick was my boss for a while. I was actually thinking about a confrontation because
did you tell about being mad at me?
So how hot-headed I was back in the day.
Oh, sure.
And some sort of conflict broke out, and who's right in the middle of it? This guy. Whose office do I end up in? this guy right here, and I'll never forget, he swiveled around in his chair and goes, which petty officer Hyman are we being right now? Are we being the professional who knows how to deal with situations, petty officer Hyman? Or are you being the, I'm going to fight everybody here, petty officer Hyman?
I know, but I love that. I love that. Oh,
I know.
Say that one more time.
That sounds like a better story for him to use than for you.
It is, but I think it's defining as I sit here.
It's so good.
Because you think about it, I followed in his footsteps.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Follow the same thing.
And so when you say, hey, he was my division officer, people will say young officer really can't inspire. It's not
geez.
to, well, look, here I am. So
yeah.
I know, look, go ahead, take a glass of water, but boom,
I know.
I'm not even gassing you. I'm being dead serious.
All right. You're awesome. So your dad was like a dentist, right?
Pharmacist.
Yeah. And he was an 06.
5, yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like, gosh. We used to be in the cinder block hangar that was built in 1940.
Facts.
And it was nasty.
Asbestos everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yep. John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
George Washington.
Every aircraft carrier the Navy had, except for the Kitty Hawk, because it was out in Japan.
Right. We did Eisenhower.
All of them.
Yes. We did
oh
all
my
of them.
gosh.
Facts.
All right. So let's see. Tell me what you've been doing for the past 2 years.
So I was at the Naval Academy. I finished up my twilight tour at the Naval Academy.
Sweet gig.
Yes, flying on the side, kind of getting back to the idea that I loved flying. Finished up.
You love getting paid to fly.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. I mean, sometimes we just don't take the opportunity to really appreciate what comes along with the skill set of flying. You know, and one day I was in a Piper Warrior flying down Chesapeake Bay, and it was just like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know, all the years of hard work that got me here.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I retired and got a job with SkyWest.
That's right.
And of course, plague happened, so everything went up in the air. It was no big deal. I just kept flying. I had built a relationship with a flight school, Part 61, Part 141, and I was their assistant chief pilot.
Yeah.
And I just did that until my job at SkyWest opened up, and then I went and started flying 121 at SkyWest, and it's been on since.
Cool. So here we are at OBAP.
Yes, we are.
You're a black guy.
I'm definitely a black guy.
I'm a white guy.
But you're an honorary black guy.
I'm an honorary black guy. That's what I'll take. I'll take it. I'm gonna keep introducing myself as that until somebody punches me.
Right. You just tell them, you let them know if they got an issue, they come talk. They see me outside.
I don't know if you've met Titus. Titus is like you, only 6'10".
Man,
that guy is amazing. Wait till you see him walking around. Like everything dims when he comes in. He's just like blocking all the light.
It's like the mountain from Game of Thrones.
He's a big guy. Okay, so what have you been doing today?
So I managed to get a meet and greet with American at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And then United at 1:30, 1:20, 1:13:20 for the military types.
Oh, geez. We're not. 1:20.
And 3 p.m. with Delta.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you just finished up Delta.
I just finished up Delta.
Okay. Have you had any interviews yet for anybody, any calls?
So I think American was an interview. I'm 99.975% sure.
Check your phone and see if you've got a CJO in it.
Well, so
what is this?
They called me back now. So I got done with the meet and greet. About 4 or 5 minutes later, I got a call from them. They were like, "Hey, can you come down to Can you come down here to this one spot and talk to us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm on my way down."
Yes.
And then got in. They talked to the HR rep. I sat down with the 2 pilots, and then got done. And as soon as I got done, they came in. They were like, "Hey, the work traits assessment we just populated. We just unlocked it on your application. Just knock that out.
Hired.
Call me back."
And you got a private.
Right. They were like, after I texted them and said, "Hey, I just finished it." They were like, "Cool. Hey, swing back down by the office." And then they gave me that. They were like, "Hey, we want to invite you to the pre-gala celebration."
Yeah, a private thing for only the people they're hiring. Dude, that is amazing.
I hope that's what's happening. I don't want to get my hopes up. You know what I'm saying?
Or you're never working for us ever.
Right, they're going to get there and they're going to tell me to take the trash out.
All right, you over here in the OBAP shirt. Let's go. Oh, geez.
We need volunteers.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Flight attendants, what did they ask you?
So it was mostly low threat, especially with the HR individual. Well, I'll tell you what, I started with the meet and greet. The meet and greet was super dope.
Okay.
The meet and greet was super dope. She went through my my resume, and she had noted that they're hiring captains, not first officers. You know, I kind of did TPNX, and the primary assessment from that was pretty close to an upgrade anyway, so yeah. Cool. I've been on the road for that. And so her specific word was FOMO. Look, don't look over there and think that looks great. All the bigger aircraft, more money, stay the course. You're really, really close. Cool. I had told Joe here that's exactly what I thought was gonna happen, and I'm prepared for that. I just wanted to build relationships. So I walk out. About 3 or 4 minutes later, I get a phone call from a number I didn't know, and I was in the middle of a conversation, so I sent the voicemail. And then,
never do that at OBAP.
So then
never. Hey, anybody, mom, I know you're listening at home. Like, she's the only listener,
Right.
my mom.
Right.
But like, if your phone rings and you're at a hiring conference where there is a pilot shortage and they need to hire 20,000 pilots, and your phone rings and it's from an unknown number, it's not for your car warranty.
right. Answer the phone.
Let's go. Oh man.
Right. So I realized they left me a voicemail, so I just walk out in the main space.
I'm so glad you listened to that voicemail.
So listen to the voicemail. And as I'm listening to the voicemail, I'm like, what? And then he calls me again. Like, you know what I'm saying? He calls me right back. So I answer it. And I'm like, Kenny speaking. They're like, hey.
Oh, this is Kenneth?
Right.
Your best
Kenny,
big boy voice.
Right. It's Kenneth speaking. I've got rollerblades on.
Oh, my gosh.
But, so Kenny speaking. He's like, hey, Captain so-and-so from American, we're trying to, are you still here? I'm like, looking at the booth. It's like 13 feet from your booth. Right. And so they're like, yeah, can you come down here? And I'm like, sure. Absolutely. I'm on my way. As everybody else is like looking at me like, yeah, so I went down and first in with the HR rep, and then after the HR rep, I sat down with the 2 pilot interviewers.
So, any weird questions that you were not ready for, or not expecting, maybe?
Okay, what I wasn't expecting was the awkwardness when I sat down and talked to the 2 pilot interviews. It was super awkward.
Why?
A lot of awkward silence, a lot of awkward staring.
Yeah, just because they're writing stuff, or
no, just because they're looking me and dead in my soul.
Okay,
and I'm just like
game face.
Right, I just keep my smile on.
It's your school.
Right, just exactly. I just keep my smile on, and I'm not going to fill the space with uncomfortable conversation.
1,000%.
Yeah.
You don't. How about the Braves? Like what? Get out of here.
Right. Stay in the zone. Stay in the zone. I stayed on glide slope, and it was super awkward. The first guy talked about himself, and how he got into flying. And the second guy talked about himself and how he got into flying. And then they just kind of like looked at me, and I'm just like, is that my cue?
They didn't tell you to tell it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I'm trying to, and then like a 15-second pause, and the guy started talking about himself again. So I was like, oh, okay. So no, it's not me. It's not me.
You did good.
I didn't tag in yet. Yeah. So
That's tricky.
I just kind of stayed patient. It was chess moves.
Yeah.
Stay patient
for sure. Patient. Like that's the thing. You can't get those feathers ruffled up because once they start, it's over.
Right.
And you're gonna start sweating more.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Sweating more.
Yeah.
They did ask a question. The one question that made me stop and think for a moment was pre-flight the aircraft, saying you're already late getting out from the gate.
Sure.
So you pre-flight the aircraft and the position light is out. Right. It's supposed to be a VMC day. And so I kind of knew what they were looking for me. They're looking to see how I'm going to communicate that we can't go.
Sure.
I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make this about me. I'm not going to make this about the captain, even though the captain is pressuring me. It was a really awkward conversation because, like I said, they're looking at me awkward. They're giving me these awkward looks. They're awkward pauses. So in my brain, I'm going, I don't think I'm giving them an answer they like, but this is exactly what I would do with the aircraft. I know what the OPSEC says. I know what the FAR-AIM says. So what I just need to not do is go, captain, it says right here in the FAR-AIM.
Yeah.
And it says right here in the AFM and the OPSEC that we are not flying. So I just had to resist that answer and keep saying, captain, look, I'm not comfortable. I'm really, really not comfortable.
Learning how to play that game when you are sitting, when it's game time and the rules of the game are different than how you would actually handle it, it's tricky because you want to default to that.
Right.
And they give you, it's a trap, right?
Yeah.
The questions are trap questions like that. There are other ones that are not, but that one is clearly one where they're trying to pressure you to see if you'll flex, and they can push you as hard as they want. Right now, they need people, so they're not pushing super duper hard.
Right.
But man, they could just put that thumb on you and just push.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got up sweating, that's for sure. But it worked out.
You've been sweating all day, man.
Facts. I'm in a 3-piece suit.
You are in a 3-piece suit. You're the only guy here. There was a guy in a green suit. I talked to him. I had to talk to him. He was amazing. I was like, you're in a green suit? Let's talk. I did not talk about his green suit because he was really young. I didn't want to.
So yeah, that's how that worked out. And then I had United and Delta behind that.
And then that was meet and greets?
Yeah. So one thing, I'm going to put a plug in here for the United one because I thought this was a good look. So, as you know, English is my second language. Street slang is my first.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And generally speaking, when I show up to professional environments, I speak like a Republican. I enunciate everything. Don't take politics in that. If you're listening, do not start devolving to politics.
Listen, Mom.
Get off Facebook. But in any case, the gentleman I was speaking to, it was a really comfortable conversation. I started to meet him where he lived. You know, he settled into normal vernacular, so I settled in to normal vernacular.
Look at that. No having a code switch.
Facts.
That, like, listen, I've wanted to talk. I've been like, I'm the white guy.
Right.
Wanted to talk about code switching all day long.
Yeah. And so being an environment where it's a normal mode of communication. So I met him where he lived and we started having that conversation. We started having that conversation. Once we got done, it was great. We got up, we were walking out. And as we were walking up the hallway, he's like, "Going this direction?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, hey, listen, I'm good with it. It was great for me. But if you get an interview, make sure you think about your speech patterns, you know, dope and home with. And I was like, at the end of the day, I mean, I met him where he lived, you know, based on how he was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that was great feedback. And considering this is aviation, you're only as good as your last pass. That was great feedback from him.
I think that the moral here is that no matter where the interviewer goes, you need to stay on the path.
Facts.
Without whatever vernacular. It's probably even tricky if you're Spanish, you're Spanish speaking, and you have a Spanish speaking interviewer, and all of a sudden you roll into some Spanish while another person there is not speaking Spanish.
Exactly.
And they're like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
That's tricky. And you really have that's your challenge. That's what I challenge you to, is like 110% A game.
Facts.
Without any vernacular slang.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You know what? We all.
Mine's
speak,
cursing.
Right. We all.
It really is.
We all speak. Don't say.
That's it. Don't say. It happened. I'll tell you listeners a story about it one day, Mom. But like, that's true. You've got to get to that point where you are comfortable enough to have that conversation and make it move on. So it sounds like you're going to have a busy couple days. It sounds like you're going to don't go boozing too hard tonight with American in your pocket in case you have to do United and Delta the next day with a hangover.
You know something? All that time underway, I'll be good.
I know. I've seen it. Dude, Kenny, I'm proud of you, buddy. Like, you're an amazing guy.
Just lucky to be here with you.
Gosh, what a treat.
Right. Just lucky to be here with you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Hyman, like, what a day. Congratulations.
Love you,
I love you.
I appreciate you, and thanks for being a good role model.
All right, buddy. See ya. All right, dude. Well, I'm back with Aaron. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We just met. I got up and said, hey, what's up? And you're like, hey, I'm Aaron, right?
That's about it, yeah. Aaron, C17 pilot, out at the schoolhouse. Here, kind of probably a familiar story that a lot of people have in the Air Force right now. Serve my commitment and then looking to join the airlines.
So in the Air Force, you have to be a pilot, you have to guarantee like 10 years is your pound of flesh requirement.
Yeah, 10 years after your completion of pilot training.
Right, so 2 years for pilot training. So you're at about the 12-year mark.
About.
Okay, cool. And do you have target airline here?
Kind of have my preference set list, kind of back and forth, but at this point, so they don't have any job offers, kind of open to whoever offers me the job, and then if I have multiple ones on the table, I'll make the decision from
Who's
there.
the prettiest girl to dance here for you?
Well, I'm a C-17 pilot, so I kind of like cargo.
Okay.
It doesn't complain as much, but I'm also going to be living in the Philly area near kind of a lot of domiciles of United, American, and Delta.
Okay.
So,
have you spoken with anybody yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've spoken actually with a couple of FedEx, UPS, Delta.
Okay. What's that experience been like? Talk to me about what they're saying.
It's been great. First off, I thought when I came in here, I thought it'd be hours-long line waits. You only got to talk to like one person, in the morning, one person in the evening. But yeah, it's been great. They're all really friendly. A lot of paramilitary guys, a lot of regional guys. So, pretty good mix of both. They're easy to answer questions you have. If you have problems with your apps too. So I had one. So UPS kicked my app to inactive without telling me why or without really giving any feedback. So they have the HR here. So they're going to go back and review that and hopefully clear some things up there.
Listen, let me tell you what. Having a person look at your app can trigger an invite so many times. Like just getting a human to review your app.
Right.
That is probably whatever you paid to fly in here like you just covered the cost.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
It was well worth it. Especially, I heard about this through a friend who gets Spitfire emails, and
Yeah, you're not a client. You're just a buddy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I heard about your guys' email, so I was like, oh, all right, we're gonna go to this, and it's already well been worth the money I paid for it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Married?
Yep, married with 2 kids and another on the way.
Oh, dude. All right. When's the baby due?
January.
All right. There you go, man. It's time to get to work. Get that job. Get done with OE.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
get a line so you can be a good dad. Man, okay. Hey, tricky thing is going to be figuring out paternity leave year 1 when you're on probation. So get ahead of that with whatever airline you end up with. I'm doing that right now.
Oh, nice.
So,
I'll still be in the Air Force. So this is one of the funny things. I'm lining up my terminal with my paternity leave.
oh man. So terminal leave is like the leave you get when you're leaving the military. Whatever like days you've built up of time off, you can like put in those days and do them all at once.
Exactly.
And then
Right
you
at
could
the end
start
of your commitment.
Yeah. So like you could do 2 months and leave 2 months early and then start your job. And so you're kind of getting 2 paychecks.
That's correct.
It's a huge score.
Yeah.
All right. What advice do you have for the kids at home?
Definitely go to a conference.
Yeah.
So there's this if you're military, there's RTAG, there's NGPA, I think it's in February, but going to a conference is well worth it. See, everyone says get your apps in.
Yeah.
Delta sent me a email at the 9-month mark. So from the gouge I've got from everyone else in the squadron, they're sending out emails about the 9-month mark. United American, haven't got emails from those yet. I've heard they're sooner, but I've also heard, and I'll find out here if this works, that going to a conference will help trigger that early review.
Yeah. Well, I want you to circle back with me and let me know what you get. That way, we're going to get on the podcast and talk about what your experience was if you got any invites and stuff like that. That would be really cool to know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, dude. Hey, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, before I let you go, I need to mention one thing because a lot of people are asking me, can you do anything? Can you help me with this? And the answer is yes. At Spitfire Elite, we will make more millionaires this year than Major League Baseball will make in the next 5 years. Our company actually does this. It's called Spitfire Elite Interview Consulting. And you can find us over at SpitfireElite.com. Our clients, they call us the easy button for interview prep because everything you need to crush your interview is there in one spot. Whether it's application review or interview prep, all of it is covered. We've helped thousands of clients who are now flying at their dream jobs because our coaches gave them the one-on-one feedback that they needed to succeed on the biggest day of their life. The best part of Spitfire is our community. All Spitfire clients will get access to our private chats where they can work with each other and they can work with our coaches and get the latest information on all the airlines. If you'd like to make sure that you are 100% ready to go on your big day, there is only one choice. Everything you need is in one place, and I think it's pretty affordable. You'll have to take a look for yourself. Just go over to SpitfireElite.com and check us out. Use the coupon code PODCAST and it'll save you 10%. And by the way, I will see you on the next episode. The statements made on this show are my own opinions and do not reflect, nor are they under any direction from my employer.